clarity. Three.
The way I look upon it is that if you do any experience that we're going through, and it's not a positive, let's say. The purpose of it is that we should learn from it, look at it, and learn from it, and that consciousness that brings in our mind what's right and what's wrong is through that experience. When I see that, oh, what I did is wrong, that's what the result's supposed to be. But then there is another thing that comes, is feeling guilty about it. And in my opinion, feeling guilty upon it, it's not a positive thing to work with it. Yeah.
Not productive.
What I say is, I say always, it's like, God, you want me to do it. I put the gift on, I put the thing on HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so that I could be not hooked into the guilt. Because if you are hooked into the guilt, it's
very hard.
It makes you, not able to function and judging yourself, which you're not supposed to judge yourself in a negative thing. It's only the learning thing part is for each experience that we're going through. It's learning, and that's what brings us, developing us on a higher level. Every experience, every time, it's learning to go a little higher and higher and higher level about things that's happening, and making us a little bit, better towards the world and towards the life.
Yeah, it's really probably good to go into examples. Sex is usually a good example of things that some of us have done that we might not have wanted to do, but we did it, right? We did it. Certain things we did. And so there's an element of guilt, and yet there's a sense that with the Torah, the Torah that I learn is, and I even learned it from the Ramchal, he talks about akirat ratzon. If I uproot my will, if I take back and reclaim the will that I used when I did that action, and that I put my energy into it. I said, oh my goodness, I wish I wouldn't have done it. If I would have known then what I know now, and I really had my balance, I wouldn't have done that. Of course I was off balance. I was uninformed. I was really not there. Hashem knew, but I didn't know. I'm responsible and I'm accountable, but I'm not so accountable that I can't retrieve and reclaim my essence. Then Hashem says, okay, now that action had to be done, but I'll take care of it now. You have to take back and to the best of your ability, again, there's so many nuances here, but to the best of your ability to retrieve your essence from any, because what happens there is a false personality gets established around that energy. And then I have to act that way and do that. What we want to do is not have to do that. I want to use that energy back into the wholeness of who I am. That's called reclaiming. That's called owning the child, the hurt child. Is instead of keep going with that, is to believe that I am more than what I've done. And that's why obviously it's so important in education, is this what you've done and what you are. And we're usually capable of judging an action, but not the person. And so we have to do it with ourselves. So a good rule of thumb is, I want to do tshuva Hashem for whatever I've done wrong, and I don't even know, I'm doing my best. I just want to get close to you. I want that whatever I've done doesn't stop me from getting close to you. Please, I'm willing to do anything. I want my tshuva to be ad kedei, to the extent that I'm willing even anything, whatever, to go through anything, but just to get clean between me and you. And then Hashem can take that action, because actions apparently have to be done. I just was the unfortunate one who had to do it, and Hashem can say, okay, I can continue to use that action, but you can become clean. Again, talking about this in such a short time is difficult. I'm sorry if I'm saying anything that's not really making complete sense to you.
That's what God created the Yetzer Hara from the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like giving you all these challenges. But the Yetzer Hara comes and it pushes you. It's not you. It's actually the Yetzer Hara who is behind all these things. What you're doing.
Yeah, we have to understand that too. Yes.
Maybe take it a little bit when we had the commentary that Midrash about take it literally, if one of us does, that would imply that they, well, if it was on them, they could pass that, would they? And maybe it's not really a question, because maybe it just wasn't that, it was only, but that's what that ran through my mind, just saying to someone, are you really one of us? Let's see if you can do this. And you would think that if someone's going to say that, it means that I would be able to do this, can you do this? Does that make any sense what I'm saying?
I'm not sure if I heard where you're coming from.
It was just a thought that was running through my mind.
In terms of the conversation that we said here that Shlomo said that Yehuda had with Yosef, I'm going to put you into a test now, and if you're really one of us, you're going to come through with flying colors.
Right.
So how are you applying it now?
Well, if you say you're really one of us, and you can do this, in other words, we would be able to do it, and we're one of us. So if we had to do this, we would be able to handle this.
But
If you're one of us, you're going to be able to also.
No, because we have the distinction is that Yosef has to be a different type of tzaddik than Yehuda. So each one recognizes that there's a difference between the two of them. And you didn't even go into the story of later what happens when they go down to Egypt and Yosef freaks them out and blows their mind. I love that story, but it wasn't part of this presentation. Yes?
I'd just like to share something that I heard earlier this morning from Rabbi Safran that's so relevant to this Yehuda versus Yosef thing, and also relevant to Reb Shlomo and his music. He was saying, because he heard how wonderful the concert was last night, that it gives over in the Gemara that when a person would come to the Beit HaMikdash with a chatat and he had done some kind of sin, the Leviim would sing until they saw that he was so broken from the pain inside, he was so broken that his neshama was going to leave him, and then they would change their singing to simcha to bring him back down. So it's the Yehuda being so broken, and then the music, you know.
The Kohanim were the psychiatrists of the time.
Yeah.
They'd say, you're bringing a chatat, a sin offering, what'd you do? And they'd get deeper and deeper and deeper. This is from the Alexander Rebbe, I heard from Shlomo once. They'd go deep and deep, and they would all cry with him.
And they'd all cry with him.
And in the meantime, they're having the Levine playing a certain type of, because they were masters of music, they could completely affect your emotional state. And then at a certain point, calmer music, and they move into another state, and then eventually dance. And that for me is Yom Kippur culminating in Simchas Torah. Because you can't, the tshuva is not until Simchas Torah. Yom Kippur tshuva is only like half the story.
Beautiful, thank you.
I was very moved by what you said about this dynamic of brothers, this revealing aspect of the brothers, with love, sending
Amazing.
Yosef down to Egypt. And I'm thinking, and that just kind of totally opened it up, you know. And what I'm thinking about, though, is this added layer, which had to also be done through love, but I'm wondering why it's done in this way. And Hashem says, you know, the question, well, I won't bring that in right now. Not to say that it's not, you know, a question for the bar, but don't question or I'm going to destroy the world kind of thing. And there's a reason for that, because even the doubt is a certain lack of love. Maybe that's wrong. That's said, but the question is, why is there this appearance of adversarial? Why is that the thing that drives home and the hidden is the love? And you know, that's a very big thing. There isn't even like and yet you're commanded to love Hashem your God at all times, and of course, as you say, that how could it be otherwise? But yes, the appearance is, and in fact, the appearance is in fact, the entire